Hello everyone, we're back again with another critique video. Today on the channel we have Train Bloom. I've seen him very recently, now multiple times. Tony from Bloom Training, educator, trainer, type 1 diabetic, probably at Chipotle. This will be good. So this was a short that was sent to me by Reliable Earl. That's what I'm going to start calling you now because you send me videos all the time. I cannot guarantee that I will always be able to get to these videos at some point if I grow too large of a following. But I'm taking advantage of the fact that I can do it now. So this was a video that was sent to me on Sunday and I have not watched it. So we're going to go ahead and see what he has to say. I know that it is going to be about calories in, calories out though. So that'll be fun because Earl actually said that. He kind of gave it away. But anyway, we're going to waste no further time and we're just going to jump directly into this video. But first, just like always, please subscribe to the Patreon if you haven't already to gain access to 1 week early uploads, ad-free content, uncensored content, 1 extra video per week, and an exclusive Discord server for tier 3 patrons. And also, if you haven't bought my book, Contrainidicated, please go ahead and do that as well. Links to both of those in the description below, especially that last one because my second edition is almost out. And then the first edition you will never be able to buy again. It is limited edition, or it will be at least. So now let's get into this video.
Calorie deficit doesn't just mean eat less food.
No, it doesn't. A calorie deficit doesn't effectively mean anything. A calorie deficit is a heat deficit because calories are units of heat as they are photons of light when made manifest in the real world. And nothing else, actually. They have a rest mass of 0. You can't consume them. There's no calories in your food either. Did you know that? Okay, but even using the calories in, calories out model of what a calorie deficit actually means, which is just eat less food, it means exactly that. Yes, it does. It means less food. It means eat less food. That is its implications. It also means exercise more, right? You know, because more activity counteracts food input. So anyway, cool.
Right? There's only 2 parts that go into making a calorie deficit. The calories coming...
Well, let's see if you get any of this right. Because if you talk about anything other than photons of light and hypothermia and hyperthermia, then you're wrong.
That you eat and drink each day, and the calories going out that you burn.
How do you burn a calorie? How do you burn something that is the result of burning something? Your body absorbs mass in the forms of carbohydrates, fats, proteins, and alcohol, chemically interacts those substances under control of molecular oxygen. They react in such a way so as to change the chemical bonds and basically alter the positioning of them. And since those reactions are exothermic, meaning they release heat, they do actually release photons in the form of calories. Yes, 70% of which is released to entropy, and the other 30% is encapsulated in the form of chemical potential energy by ADP and PI to form ATP, the cellular energy currency, or the molecular energy storage form, because ATP itself is not energy. And when that energy is needed to be released later, then ATP is released, or is broken apart, hydrolyzed, and then it releases energy. Okay? So the human body doesn't absorb energy, it absorbs mass, and before you say, well, it's the same damn thing, Eddie. Mass and energy are interchangeable. They're interconvertible on a mathematical level, but not on a day-to-day basis. And also, they're 2 different currencies, aren't they? Aren't they? Like US dollars and Canadian dollars. Are those the same? No, they're not. Anyway, the calorie metric is a completely incongruous measurement, okay? Calories are a metabolic byproduct of metabolism, sir, Mr. Train Bloom.
But the problem is when most people think about creating a deficit.
No, the problem is that you don't understand human physiology at all, and you are just a meathead influencer, okay? It's not, the more you eat, the more fat you get, and so you just need to work out to lose the fat. That's not how that works. It's a lot more complicated than that, okay? So anyway, and also, even if that were the case, it's not calories, it's mass, isn't it? And that's not me being pedantic. They're 2 different currencies. They are not equivalent. Okay? And also the calories in, calories out model completely neglects to mention the influence of hormones and the fact that the only thing that influences hormones are mass constituents, not energy, calories. Okay? Which means that your hormonal responses are going to be determined by what you eat and what behavior you engage in. Okay? A type 1 diabetic, Mr. Train Bloom, like yourself, should understand this because if you don't inject your insulin, you can eat whatever the you want and not gain a pound. In fact, you'll actually lose weight in the forms of like everything, muscle, fat, water, okay? And it's not due to you releasing more calories because those calories have no rest mass, which means they can't affect the mass balance of your body, okay?
They only focus on the first part of that equation, which is to eat less food, or by thinking...
No. Okay. According to this model, that is what that means. Yes. However, calories in is always 0. So how can the implications of eating less calories, which, well, means eating the same amount that you've already been eating, mean eat less? That's why I said no just there. This is just silly as You are a type 1 diabetic that depends on insulin and you're still espousing this bullshit. You know the influence of hormones.
The only way to increase how many calories you burn is to spend
You
more.
cannot burn calories, okay? Is this really going to be what my video is? Seriously? It's mass in, mass out, not energy in, energy out. And the reason why that distinction matters is because mass has an effect on hormones and energy doesn't. Since they are not equivalent units, then you also get all your math wrong, even if you're trying to track how much food you're eating, okay? 500 calories of meat is far less mass than 500 calories of carbohydrates, usually, in the form of like potatoes or something. They're different units. Stop talking about calories, okay? We are open thermodynamic systems, which makes this even worse because you also release water vapor and fecal matter and urine that aren't even accounted for in metabolism. So off with this.
I'm exercising, but that's not necessarily true. This is your TDEE, or a breakdown.
Okay, so this is just a bunch of pseudo-sophisticated nonsense in order to aggrandize a philosophy that meets no adequate veracious standard, or veracity standard. Standard of veracity is probably what I should say. Okay, TEF, the thermic effect of food. As if that isn't dependent on multiple factors. Wow. Also, how do you track that shit? You can't track it. You can't at all. It's not possible. Your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, you cannot track that. You also can't track how many calories are released from your body. You also can't even measure how many calories would be yielded from a food if you rapidly combusted it in a bomb calorimeter, which is what the calorie number on food labels is supposed to represent. There's no calories in your food. It's supposed to represent how many calories you would yield from your food because you're a thermodynamic system too, just like a bomb calorimeter, and that's how it works in a bomb calorimeter. So you must do the exact same thing, which isn't true. You can't even measure those. They're an estimation, which is why they're legally allowed to be out by up to 20% in either direction in every Western country on food labels. Wow. Seriously?
Where you burn calories in a day. And
You don't burn calories. Covered that. Next.
people's surprise, exercise is usually the smallest part, with the majority of what you do burn coming from places
You
that
don't burn anything. Sorry. Okay?
aren't the gym. So yes, you could just work out more or starve yourself, but that's probably
Yeah, exactly. Starve yourself, Train Bloom. That's literally what the calories in, calories out model promotes. It promotes an eating disordered mentality. As long as it fits your macros, first of all, and as long as it's under your caloric needs for the day, then you'll lose weight. Doesn't matter what you eat. Bullshit.
the smartest way to do it. And it would make a lot more sense to
Well, the smartest way to optimize body composition, sir, is to not follow the calories in, calories out model in the first place and to throw it out entirely. Okay?
just as much on the bigger pieces to create that deficit, like your non-exercise.
What if we just ate a species-appropriate, species-specific diet for our speciation? Because there's only one of those for every single species of animal on the planet. Did you know that? Because a species-appropriate, species-specific diet is naturally, inherently going to be, as a consequence of it being your species-appropriate diet, conducive to optimizing your body composition through hormonal responses. Okay? Live an indicated lifestyle. How about that? Why don't we go ahead and do that? Okay?
The other 23 hours you're not in the gym, the calories you burn from digesting the food.
You don't burn calories, okay? Do I need to put a counter on the top right corner of the screen or something for every single time that you talk about something so unscientific, like burning calories? Burning something that is the result of burning something. Good. Burning photons. Yes, of course.
Like eating more protein, which burns 3 to 10 times more calories being digested.
No, you cannot measure that. You cannot assess that. And by the way, even if that is the case invariably across an entire population, that is not what is affecting your mass balance. That is not necessarily corresponding to a mass change, okay? Because what happens when those amino acids enter the bloodstream to be utilized? What if they're incorporated into muscle tissue? Is that accounted for in the calories in, calories out model? How much of it is excreted in fecal matter? We are open thermodynamic systems. How much of it is going to be oxidized? How much of it is going to be turned into ketones, fat, glucose, and then subsequently, how are those nutrients going to be utilized? Holy sh!
Than carbs or fats do. And other factors that play a role in boosting the biggest part, your BMR, like building lean muscle.
Which you cannot measure. You can't even estimate it adequately. We know that you'll have an increase in basal metabolic rate if you have more muscle on your body, like you just put here, sure. But that's because we know how physiology works. We know that if you have more muscle cells on your body, that means more mitochondria, which means more oxidation of substrate in order to maintain the lives of the cells. It necessarily has to be the case. Do we know by what degree, by what measurement you'll have an increase in basal metabolic rate? No, which is why we don't claim to know.
Your sleep and stress. The point is...
Right, so it depends on a multitude of factors. There you go. Body composition depends on a multitude of factors, but apparently all of those factors only affect your body composition because the amount of calories burned versus how many calories stored. This is just tenacity on a whole other level. First, it was calories in, calories out. Eat less, move more. Then it was hormones are not a reliable indicator of body composition. They have no effect on it. And then whenever it was patently obvious that it did, they had to justify their position and say, well, you were right, but not in the way you think you were right. It still fits the calories in, calories out model. It's just a cope. It's just a desperate cope. It's particularly a cope on the side of people like Lane Norton. I just recently, well, relatively recently, released a video about Lane being a tenacious fool. I call him a tenacious fool for that reason. Anyway.
Calorie deficit isn't just if you exercise more than you can eat. It's if your entire life burns more than you eat. And once you look at it that way,
You don't f***ing burn anything.
you don't have to eat nearly as little as you think you do to make progress.
You don't need to restrict what you're eating at all in order to maintain body composition, optimal body composition, if you eat the appropriate f***ing food for your species. So anyway, that was it. Glad that's over. Glad that's over with now. Anyway, stop counting your calories. Okay? Well, stop doing what you think is counting your calories, because you can't count calories, and you can't eat them, and you can't consume them, and you don't yield calories from your food. And calories are a metabolic byproduct that don't have any effect on your mass balance. Okay? Eat a species-appropriate, species-specific diet. Okay, anyway, with that being said, if you enjoyed this quick video, please leave a like, please subscribe to the channel, and please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And also, once again, if you haven't subscribed to the Patreon, please go ahead and do that. And if you haven't bought my book, Contrainidicated, go ahead and do that as well. Once again, links to both those in the description below. And finally, most importantly, link on the bottom of the screen. What is that link? Well, that is a link that will bring you to an amazing site with amazing products from an amazing brand known as Cerule. If you purchase product through that link, you'll get a permanent 10% discount and permanent free shipping discount when signing up for monthly deliveries. And if you email me behind the scenes at edgookie14@gmail.com, I can tell you how to earn those products for free, because who in their right mind wouldn't want that? But I would obviously encourage you to not buy those products at all if you don't know what they are. So I would refer to the link at the top right corner of the screen, the Cerule Products link, which is a complete elucidation and explanation of what those products are, who should take them, why you should take them, when to take them, etc., etc. And it would also further migrate to the description below to find a video between myself and Professor Parquet on these products in further detail, as well as the company of Cerule itself. And with that being said, join me next time when we react to someone else that doesn't understand the hormonal effects on body composition, despite the fact that they are a type 1 diabetic. So, till then.